Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis. And today we're going to be talking about Ripple and XRP. But before we fully jump on into this video, I just want to ask for all those XRP holders out there, if you guys have been enjoying the content recently, definitely hit that like button. And also, comment down below how your guys' weekend is going. I recently actually just woke up a couple hours ago, and my sleep schedule is absolutely ruined. We have been sitting here looking at a ton of information around what's happening within the market. We have been addressing and preparing for this next week because this next week is going to be a big one. We know that the FOMC meeting is coming, and we know that there's going to be a lot of price action that's most likely going to be volatile. So I did post like 20 plus updates in the last 3 days over on the Patreon. For those out there that are not a part of the Patreon, it's totally okay. We also do post a ton of free information in the Discord. The Discord is absolutely free. You guys can check out both of them down in the description below, as well as in the comments below. And yeah, so let me know how you guys' weekend is going. I'd love to hear from you guys. In terms of what's happening around crypto, we are starting to see a narrative being pushed around like, okay, well, hey, crypto's bad, stay out of crypto, blah, 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 all this nonsense. And we've seen this narrative in the past. In fact, this tweet here kind of sums up how things go with this narrative. So we do see how it started versus how it's going. So with Google, we do see over here, Google will ban all cryptocurrency-related advertising. And then over here, we do see Google selects Coinbase to take cloud payments with cryptocurrencies and will use its custody tool. The thing is that it doesn't matter what the narrative here is. Like, okay, yeah, they're going to be banning advertising, because I do see this comment down below here. It's the idea that they're trying to push this idea that, like, hey, you need to stay out of crypto. Crypto is this, crypto's that. Like, we even see it right now in the United States. We recently just seen a bill. Now, it wasn't just saying Bitcoin. I absolutely hate these Bitcoin maxi accounts that always say, like, oh, it's Bitcoin, it's Bitcoin, it's Bitcoin. It's not. First off, Bitcoin's trash. We've talked about it. It's not designed, developed, or even close to the efficiency level that it needs to be for payments. But we do see breaking. The White House just published its crypto policy roadmap saying Bitcoin adoption by mainstream institutions would be a grave mistake. When I see this type of, I call it fear mongering almost. When I see this, I get extremely bullish. I get absolutely bullish on this. They always use these buzzwords like, oh, it imploded, the markets imploded, collapse, insolvencies, a major, major collapse. Like they're utilizing these buzzwords to create this narrative around crypto, that how, if you even put $1 in, it's going to be gone tomorrow. Like, I love this because in just the recent time frames that we've been watching crypto, we've started to see things absolutely go parabolic. I mean, two coins that I just mentioned back in October have printed like multiple X returns. I mean, LCX, for an example, right, did like almost a 5X or a 6X or something like that. A0 pumping right now. Like, all of these coins are starting to break out. This market's going a little bit crazy, and we're making mad money in a bear market. And it's insane to me because you won't see this. Most retail individuals won't see this because guess what? Everyone is looking at what the White House is telling them, what mainstream media is telling them. If you go and look at CNBC, Squawk Box is telling you, stay the hell out of crypto. It's a scam. It's a Ponzi. It's this. What about the stock market? The stock market, I mean, like, we recently just seen them halt like 80 plus stocks because of an error. Yeah, that's not suspicious at all. But honestly, in terms of what the White House is doing here, it's not just about Bitcoin. It's about all of cryptocurrencies. And I do think that this is because they want to, they don't want retail to be a part of this market. And I've talked about this many times. In fact, over here from Sugarcoat, aka Johnny over on Twitter, I read this tweet and I even responded. I even said, like, few understand this. Good looks, Johnny, because we do see CBDCs and crypto allows governments to rug pull out of the current unsustainable debt-ridden monetary system without the people ever noticing. I've been wondering why the US hasn't actively defended its petrodollar status lately. One reason could be that they don't have to. And yeah, when we go and look at the DXY, for an example, I've been focused on the DXY for a very long time, as you guys are probably all aware of. And right now, the DXY is holding on to its last opportunity for a major bounce here. Now, what could be the catalyst event for a major bounce? Well, it's going to be most likely the FOMC meeting. If he has a 50 BPS plus, guess what? We're going to probably pump and crypto's probably going to crash. But if we have a 25 BPS, which again, he's kind of right now constrained to like one specific decision, then if we see this, right? Then I'm expecting the US dollar to collapse down to this 105-day EMA, which is sitting at about like 98.62. This is right around the demand range, just to give you guys a quick insight. And I know that a lot of you guys don't like TA out there, but it's okay. I just want to share with you guys real quick something. So I'm expecting this area to be tested on the US dollar at some point in time. This is a big area of demand, and the dollar looks pretty rough right now, but they have not been defending it. Saudi Arabia, many nations are moving away from the US dollar, all at a rapid pace. And the funny thing about this is that, yeah, like the new monetary system, like they're going to be able to wipe the debt. They're going to be able to, create this new monetary system and new monetary policy centered around CBDCs and digital assets. And most of the general public does not even see this. I try to talk to people about what's happening with CBDCs, and they don't even know what a CBDC is. They don't even understand it. And they're like, there's no way that's real. And if you've been a part of crypto, I mean, it almost feels like we are living in a sci-fi movie, because everything that we've noticed in the last couple months is right out of a sci-fi movie. Like, this is all preemptively planned. We know that this is moving fast as well. We see over here from Gold Telegraph, East Africa is working on a common currency. West Africa is working on a common currency. Argentina and Brazil are working on a common currency. BRICS is working on a common currency. Central banks are buying gold at the fastest rate in half a century. Smell the change. We are starting to see a big shift. In my opinion, we are about to see the next evolution of finance. And I know that I've been talking about this for a while on this channel, but guess what? I can only warn you guys so many times before we start to get to that end goal point, and we are almost there. In my opinion, we are very, very close. We started to see a big shift happening around crypto just recently. We started to see a big shift happening around like regulatory compliance and things like that. We also just recently seen, because I actually quoted it and I remember talking about it as well. So it was this one. Again, I hate these Bitcoin maxi accounts. I even said like the entire bill mentions digital assets, cryptocurrencies, etc., but not Bitcoin specifically. History has shown that Bitcoin is not designed for payments. And this was that announcement from Congress, and it's a new U.S. Senate bill that would require all restaurants, cafes, and even vending machines on Capitol Hill to accept crypto payments. The crazy thing about this is that, when we look at crypto payments and stuff like that, it's the idea that they're trying to adopt cryptocurrencies and kind of push into this new digital landscape for payments and finance. And no one is paying attention. Like, barely anyone is paying attention. Like, unless you are in crypto and unless you have been in crypto for a while, then nobody even sees this. Nobody is even seeing this. And the crazy thing is that, like, yeah, it's not going to be Bitcoin. When we look at what's happening around CBDCs, for an example, like, I know that this is just like payments in general at like a few areas. Like, we've seen this happen in terms of adoption, but this is like from Congress. Like, in my opinion, the US is getting ready. I think that the US has been getting ready for a while on crypto, but they want to try to control it. And I don't think that that's going to be the case. I think that, if we see Ripple win this lawsuit against the SEC, I think that's going to put into motion a major shift around regulatory frameworks within crypto, which we could hope for, right? But from Ripple themselves, like, we've seen them specifically focus on CBDCs because this is the next evolution of finance, whether we like it or not. I've talked about this many times on this channel. I don't like retail CBDCs. I support wholesale CBDCs just because I know that the efficiencies from wholesale CBDCs could change a lot of things around finance and also a lot of the issues within finance. But whether we like it or not, we will most likely see a retail CBDC happen as well. But we do see 37% of senior financial executives consider financial inclusion and greater access to credit the largest potential breakthroughs for CBDCs. Check out the real-life use cases hurdles, and implications to turn widespread CBDC adoption from hype to reality. And this is an old article. Listen, this article is from March 2022. Again, who was really paying attention to this market during March? Probably not a lot of people. The market started to go into a downward spiral starting in November, and by March, this market was basically dead. It was seriously a ghost town. Like, nobody was here. We're starting to see people trickle back in just because like the gains are starting to pour in again, but most people are still out of crypto right now. But we do see CBDCs from the hype to the how of making financial inclusion a reality. And we do see down here that they recently surveyed over 1,600 financial leaders across 22 countries and discovered that 37% of them are, considering financial inclusion and greater access to credit as the largest potential breakthroughs for CBDCs. Now, what I want to show you guys with this is something that most people forget about XRP. So on the subject of this greater access to credit, quote, I want to take you guys over here to March 23rd, 2021. And we do see, with line of credit from Ripple, your financial institution can use XRP to complete instant, low-cost cross-border transfers. How will you leverage Ripple's line of credit? Tell us below, then learn all about it. Send transactions, make repayments, get more funds. Over here, from October 8th, 2020, fund instant cross-border payments with a line of credit from RippleNet. Now, before, this used to be up here. This used to be, well, they redesigned their website, but in the past, we used to have line of credit right next to cross-border payments. It used to be a big thing. And yes, XRP is at the center point for this. So what do you see? Today, Ripple launched Line of Credit, a new beta service on RippleNet that allows customers using on-demand liquidity to source capital on demand to initiate cross-border payments at scale using the digital asset XRP. This is a big issue for SMEs. SMEs have a big issue trying to get capital as well as resources to compete within this large array of a market. And this is a use case that a lot of people kind of forget about with XRP because, yes, it is essentially part of on-demand liquidity. It allows them to have that instant line of credit. But one thing that I will say right now around line of credit to me that makes this extremely valuable is this would be a key aspect for SMEs, the SME market. And for those out there that think that the small, medium-sized enterprise grade market is like small, they make up 90% of the global trade. So they are a big aspect to everyday life. And when we take a look at how large of an opportunity this is for on-demand liquidity as well as XRP, this could be huge. And we even do see that line of credit is the latest step in Ripple's vision to enable the internet of value and break down the barriers in finance. The internet of value is on its way. And again, like this is going to be the new financial system, in my opinion. Like this new system is going to be centered on the internet of value. And I just don't see a world where Ripple and XRP aren't playing a vital role in that next evolution. I've talked about what they are discussing for so long on this channel. Every single one of their posts recently has been centered on CBDCs. And I do think that's because they understand why CBDCs are such a big aspect for a lot of these major central banks as well as governments around the world. And for those out there that do think that Ripple and XRP won't be utilized within a CBDC system, they've already prepared this. And in fact, right, when we take a look at the barriers to adoption or what's the main drivers of adoption, like we even see them mention a few areas that are already kind of moving in on CBDCs. Two of them are, utilizing Ripple, but we do see they want to ensure the existence of digital national currency in the event that paper money goes out of circulation or becomes too costly to print and has a negative impact on the environment. Where currency doesn't have to be printed or coins don't have to be minted, there are opportunities for significant cost savings. Other countries desire wholesale-only CBDC applications, which I am 100% in support of this. You guys know me. Are fostering the development of more advanced payment systems or are examining a CBDC as a way to boost financial inclusion. In this early stage of development, every central bank has some amount of FOMO or fear of missing out and wants to ensure they have a viable CBDC project underway so that they don't fall behind, or in the case the technology turns out to be quite useful for applications such as cross-border payments and international settlement. Still, many central banks or bankers remain unsure of the ultimate use case for or utility of the technology and are moving slowly so that they don't disrupt their commercial banks. And honestly, I will say this right now, as we see a big shift happening around CBDCs, I do think that this area where they do mention FOMO around like central banks, like, a lot of central banks are, every central bank has some amount of FOMO. I do think that's going to be I think that this is going to be the big shift that happens. I think that every central bank and every single nation out there is going to soon get that itch for FOMO and start developing CBDCs and moving forward on CBDCs and digital assets and crypto pretty quickly. I've even said this around just recently with like the UK and Russia and what they're doing with CBDCs and digital assets. I said that we're going to get to the point where we see a major like space race around crypto, very similar to what we've seen back in like the 1900s, where we've seen the space race happen between Russia and the US. I think that this is going to be the next major competitive area of focus, which is going to be, okay, who adopts crypto first, who adopts a CBDC first, and whoever does is going to become the major leader. And again, when we take a look at the US dollar and the petrodollar status, yeah, I don't think that they care about the petrodollar, because I think that the US sees this as well, and they understand that if they could be the first ones out, then the US dollar, in terms of a dominant currency and a reserve currency, it's going to remain its overall title, because again, the first one to do this will become the financial leader. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys definitely leave a like, subscribe to notifications on for guys more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. As it's up to you all, have a beautiful day, beautiful night, wherever you guys are in this beautiful world. This has been Nick. Peace out, guys.